frequency. We rise above, entrepreneurs of spirit and love. Feel the beat sets us free, living dreams eternally.
Welcome to the Spiritual Entrepreneur Frequency Podcast. We are so thrilled to be featuring spiritual leaders and coaches who are blending science and spirituality in powerful, impactful ways. Our guests share their unique methods to help elevate consciousness and guide people into their higher frequencies. This podcast is going to help our listeners learn how to tune into those higher frequencies through practical and science-backed spiritual tools. It's all about expanding consciousness, elevating your energy, and stepping into alignment with the life that you want to create. Through conversations and techniques like my own 4D visualization, we're helping people feel and embody their future selves. So I am so excited that you are here and enjoy the Glow Goddess Frequency Podcast. Welcome to the Spiritual Entrepreneur Frequency Podcast. It is my pleasure to have Nicoletta Puccini join us today. And for those of you who are not familiar with her work, she is a skilled practitioner committed to helping individuals access their inner pharmacy and achieve transformative self-healing. She is a certified master breathwork facilitator with additional experience in neurolinguistics, programming, and hypnotherapy. With over 15 years experience in therapeutic yoga, somatic healing, and breathwork, she combines science, intuition, and creativity to guide clients towards profound emotional, physical, and spiritual breakthroughs. As the founder of Chameleon Breathwork, Nicoletta provides a dynamic and adaptive approach, meeting clients where they are and empowering them to create lasting change. Welcome, Nicoletta. We're so happy that you are here. How are you today?
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. I'm doing well. How about you?
Excellent. So I got to hear part of your journey when we first spoke, but would you mind sharing a little bit for our listeners, leading up to that pivotal moment that you had that kind of reshaped your view around spirituality and wellness?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to share. So in 2013, I started to have like some stuff in my eyes. I couldn't see correctly, but I just kind of like just blew it off. Like it wasn't a big deal. It just happened occasionally. Then I went for a hike with a friend and she asked me to take a picture and my hand was tremoring so much that she's like, "You can't take a picture?" And she was kind of getting mad at me. And I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry." And then later I was at a doctor's visit and he was like, "I think we need to check your thyroid." And that kind of put me on a whole journey. Very soon after that, I was diagnosed with hyperthyroidism, Graves' disease, which is the severe side of it. So it's like Graves' as well, like the eyes and everything, where like hence the blurred vision and stuff like that, and causes like the eyes to protrude and like from the back. It's very miserable. So I had frequent panic attacks, anxiety all the time because my system was overregulated, right? Like I was constantly in fight or flight and I couldn't come down because my body was just kind of just on the adrenal glands just going the whole time. And so I was suffering pretty bad. I was at that point kind of depressed and just like kind of not knowing where to go. I always felt very in tune with myself, but I never kind of really believed it. Like I would kind of was like, "Oh, that's kind of witchy. That's kind of woo-woo," like I wasn't really fully developed, let's say. And I actually came across a Wim Hof video. And for the
Love him.
don't know, Wim Hof, yeah, we've discussed this. Wim Hof is amazing, the Iceman. And I started doing Wim Hof breathing. So it's a different breathing technique than what I teach, but I started doing that. I started very, very slowly doing cold immersion. And I noticed that when I had a headache or when I had anxiety, like it would just completely change my perspective. It would change and then because I'm kind of a nerd, I was like, well, what is this? How is this working? Why is this working? And then I started to get into the science of it. And then I just absolutely became invested in my inner healer and began to really understand that you can truly heal yourself. And so I just dove in head first, and I pretty much haven't come out since then.
I love that. So, your approach, tell us more about how you combine that like woo aspect with the science of breath work and, and all of what you do.
Yeah. So shortly after that, I went on a journey for myself, but inner journey, they call it, right? Inner breathwork journey. So it's a different breathing technique, and it's very internal. So you really get in touch with your internal physician. You really activate that. Once I did that, I just became enamored with the science of the breath. So WIM talks a lot about brown fat activation, right? The cold immersion with the brown fat activation. And so that I had studied that. I had loved that. But then I did the conscious connected breath, which is the breath that I teach, which is through the mouth. And it's one breath directly after the other. So basically, scientifically, what happens is you have the whole mind. You have your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. But on a regular basis, you have something coming in the middle, which is called the critical faculty. The critical faculty is the one that tells you that Superman can't fly, right? So he's kind of like he's kind of like a Debbie Downer a little bit, right? He's just like, no, it's not real. That's not real. And the thing is that your body doesn't know what's real and what's not real. Your body doesn't know reality. You tell yourself what reality is. So during the conscious connected breath work, what you're able to do is you're able to silence him. You kind of put him on the back burner. You put him on hold, and you're able to access the full mind. So what I lead my clients through is this journey. I mean, obviously they do the work because they do the breathing, but I hold this space. I guide them. Obviously, I do evaluations before to see where they're at, where they want to go. How are we going to get there? What are their blocks? How are they speaking to themselves, right? What is the language that they're using about themselves, to themselves, that is actually holding them back? And then I integrate that into the breath work. And then recently I took a master class on fascial work as well, which I had started doing self fascial work, foam rolling, a long time ago, which helped me heal the thyroid. And then I combined the two because the breath work works with the mental and the fascial release works with the body. And so it's a complete package because the fascia holds all the memory, and it's kind of like your protective armor. So emotionally gets held in the fascia. And so I'm just like really getting involved in the science of the fascia right now, like on a very scientific level. But what I do is I bring the consciousness of breath to my clients, and I show them and I teach them, how can you access your inner physician? How do you have to you don't have to rely on going to the doctor at every time you get something on your blood work. You can research, you can use the breath, you can use the fascial rolling to let these emotions and stuff, because basically 80 to 90% of doctors are saying that all the people that they're seeing, they're not getting to the root cause. This is what I'm doing. I'm trying to get to the root cause of what your issue is, and it's held in your body and it's held in your mind. And so we try to unravel that and take that out through breath work and through fascial release.
Yeah, that's so powerful. And the fascia holds like the kind of the foundation of disease too. Like that's where either you're going to hold on to it or it's going to work through then your lymphatic system and you're going to get rid of it.
Exactly.
Like the gateway, right? I've got a foam roller right under my desk.
Oh, up you. Yeah, no, so the foam rolling, I really started, before I started the Wim Hof, I started the foam rolling, and I just started, okay, that actually was what saved my life. And then come full circle, I learned how to do the fascial release. Now I do it manually with my hands. And I also teach people how to do it with the foam roller, because I've been teaching that for 15 years.
Oh, yeah.
It's like we call it like I call it like I'm a little bit of a masochist, like it hurts, but it's like, that it's so good for you. And I mean, it's just the science is, I can go on forever.
Right. Yeah. We get into like the chi and those blocks and, and all of that. Is there a, like you mentioned a couple of different types of breath work. Is there one that you would recommend or one that we could like demonstrate live for women that are feeling stuck or, want to work through and raise their energy, their frequency?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that I would say for a raise of frequency, I would definitely I would say a Wim Hof breath would be best because it's more energizing than the one I'm doing. The one I'm usually teaching, it's like I want you to go inside of yourself. And so, you
Well, well, if you wouldn't mind, walk me through yours because they can go and, they can go research Wim Hof, but
oh, definitely. Yeah.
Feeling stuck, but you know you're meant for more? Let me just grab you for 30 seconds. Trust me, it will be worth it. Tap into your power with our free activation visualization, a guided journey designed to shift your consciousness, unlock your potential, and elevate your frequency. Led by your co-host Selena Pizarro, award-winning spiritual 4D quantum business coach, combined with sound therapy music produced with love by myself, Lauren, your co-host, and my partner Marcel, creators of Best Binaurals, with over 25 years of combined music and sound healing expertise. This isn't just meditation, it's a portal to real change. And because we know you've got big things to create, we're giving you free lifetime streaming access to our productivity and focus track, my personal go-to when I need to zone out and get seriously productive. Head to www.spiritualentrepreneur.frequency.com, fill out the quick form, and we'll send you an email to stream both instantly for free. Now it's time for you to continue the why behind the woo-woo. You're just one frequency shift away from your next breakthrough.
Yeah. So for mine, it's just a conscious connected breath. So basically what you do if you're sitting up, usually we're lying down. So for anyone who's going to try this, you just want to lie down in a comfortable position. You don't want to have any distractions if you can avoid it, right? And usually we do this for an entire hour of breathing, curated to a playlist that I make specifically for you. So it is a journey, but you can also do it without the music. And what you can do is just lie down, put your hand on your chest and one on your belly.
or you could go and grab our binaural beats too. So if you don't have a playlist, you can always go and grab binaural beats to go along with it.
Oh,
And that was your main belly.
yeah. Amazing addition. Yeah. So, and what we're going to do is it's kind of awkward because you're not probably used to breathing through the mouth. So it's a mouth open breath. So you'll hear me cue like big open mouth. And what you do is you open your mouth and then you're going to take a nice big breath into the belly, into the chest, and let it go. So you're not forcing it, but you're just kind of letting it flow. And then immediately when that breath finishes, you come back to the next. So inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. So you can do this for just starting if you want to do it for like 15 minutes, just really starting to quiet the mind. Like I said, with the critical faculty, you'll have times where you will be like, oh, why am I doing this? This is dumb, or I can't meditate, right? You start getting in your head and in your own way. So I always encourage people, get out of your way and just breathe into it. Your mouth may get dry. You may be like, I don't want to do this, but you're never going to change your reality until you step into another reality. So, and that all happens with change. Nobody changes without doing something. Like change doesn't happen when we're comfortable. I tell all my clients, get uncomfortable. If you're uncomfortable, you're at the precipice of making a big change. You're never going to be changing when you're just cozy, comfy in your same spot that you're always in.
Yeah, change is always right on the other side of your comfort zone.
Absolutely.
I love that. And that is a bit different. I know with Wim Hof, he does a lot of that because I've done his practices as well. A lot of that rapid breathing where you almost go like when you almost make yourself
Hyperventilate.
hyperventilate, and it triggers your immune system, and like it kind of resets a lot of those factors.
Absolutely.
So is there, like, do you think that there's a difference with mouth breathing compared to nasal? And because I believe with his, it's nasal mouth breathing with the inhalations and the exhalations.
Yeah, so it's definitely different on like a psychological level, right? The thing is that technically we're not supposed to be breathing through our mouths, right? Because our mouths are really used as a secondary device in case our nose gets plugged if we have a cold or flu or something like that, right? So, I mean, the best way to really breathe, if you're just breathing, you want to like cleanly breathe, you want to be breathing through the nose. But when you're breathing through the mouth, you are opening up and you're expanding your esophagus and all of these different organs here, and you're expanding all of this, which is giving you a different, it's filling up the body in a different way that you can't do it through the nose, right? Because you don't have the capacity that you have through the mouth. So that's the difference in the breath. And then on the journey, it also takes you to a different journey. You wouldn't be able to get there through the nose, again, because you're limited. You have restriction of the nose. You can't really breathe that much. You would have to, like, Wim does, you would have to mostly kind of like hyperventilate. If you do go with a practitioner that really doesn't know what they're doing, you may find that, because I just had a recent experience where I was like, I had to end up like doing that myself to actually kind of get into the journey. The mouth breathing is the only way to get really inside, where you take that critical faculty out and you just really can just get into yourself on a level that you may have not done. I mean, obviously, most of you may not know, like, this was created by Groff when he was studying people on LSD, right? What he found was the breathing pattern. He took the people off LSD and then he started to study the breath. And that's kind of how all this developed more in the Western, let's say like in the Western world. Pranayama, breath work, has been from centuries, birth. I mean, from
7,000 years, the yoga sciences go back.
Exactly. And I mean, we have to think about it like, I mean, we all breathe. It's like the thing that we do. Like, that's the thing that we have to do. And right now, we're all breathing at like a 20% capacity. When you're born, you're breathing at an 80% capacity. When you're an adult, you're at 20. So we want to work on, opening up the diaphragm, really getting into the belly, really breathing around the organs. Science is showing that there's fascia even around the organs, right? So like, not only is it your protective suit, it's around your organs. You have to breathe into those spaces, into every cell of the body to create new cells, because you are also recycling cells every like 3 seconds. So your body's in with new cells. Like, you're going to, if you put oxygen into those cells, they're going to be healthier. They're going to be stronger. Your immune system's going to be better. The benefits are just, and it's technically free, right? I mean, you should be trained. I mean, you should go with a practitioner, absolutely, and learn the practices and get involved. But you can also do it in the car when you're stressed, in different, in different aspects of life. Like, it's always there for you. But we learn to think about it because it's the autonomic nervous system. The automatic nervous system is doing it for you. And so, you're like,
you don't think about it until you feel short of breath, right?
Exactly.
And I also have read, I mean, because as a yoga instructor and a pranayama breathwork facilitator myself, like guiding people through meditation, is that what you were mentioning as far as people not breathing their full capacity as adults is that they breathe shallowly and take more breaths, and that the more breaths that we take, the shorter your life will be. So those longer belly breaths, I mean, in through the mouth as you're describing it, or, like if maybe you forget and you breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth, whatever. But those deep breaths, those longer breaths is, really how to start, I feel like, in this journey, don't you think?
Absolutely. Yeah. Just what I like to tell people is just start to notice. It starts with awareness. So when you become aware of your posture, right? Or your breath, or, kind of goes together. Like, I'm constantly like setting myself up, right? Like, ooh, like
And as soon as you take a deep breath, you want to roll your shoulder back so you can expand your diaphragm.
But the thing is we're conditioned. We're conditioned to be submissive. We're conditioned to, hide in the corner and don't speak up. And these things like, no, puff out your chest, let your jugular, right? I mean, back in the day, you wouldn't let this part be exposed because this is very crucial. This is a very sensitive area, right? To be slit, this is your jugular. It can bleed out in seconds. So it's like, no, let all of this show. And not only that, but speak your truth. Right? This is all, it's all correlated to the chakra, right? The throat chakra. Like, speak your truth, take deep breaths, breathe into yourself, just admire yourself. Have the awareness and admire the beauty of your body and how it it's working automatically through the autonomic nervous system, but you can also manipulate it in a way that it's going to work way better for you.
Yeah. Love that. I love that. And that's such a, such a powerful lesson for all of us. And like you said, is so accessible. Like everyone does this every day, all the time. But when do you actually, unless you're a breathwork facilitator or a yoga instructor or someone like that, when do you actually pause to think about how you're breathing? And that just goes with mindfulness. So I love that.
Absolutely.
So as a spiritual leader and a female business owner, what do you feel is essential for, to have a thriving breathwork business or any other type of spiritual business online?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's definitely multifaceted, right? I think that for me, it really starts with really believing in who you are and what you're doing, right? Like if you don't have that fundamental belief in yourself and what you're doing, then nobody's going to believe you, right? So it's like you have to have that. So you need to go what I call through a deep, dark night of the soul, right? You need to go through that. And that's what breath work really gets you at. I mean, breath work helps creativity, helps mental blocks. I mean, it can clear out all those cobwebs, let's say, that are in your brain. So first, it's about getting to know yourself, what you're capable of. Then it goes on to what you're capable of and what you can also, what are your blocks, right? Like, what are your blocks in the fact that, do you have money blocks? Do you have, are you conditioned to think that money doesn't grow on trees and all these different things that we've been conditioned to think? Like, you have to work through all of those. And you need to, again, have your awareness. Once you have the awareness of anything, it's just second nature. If you're a curious person, or especially if you're a business owner, you're like, I want my business to thrive. Oh, why did I do that? Okay, let me investigate. And then you'll always see that most of the time it's you standing in your own way. So I would say really just do the work to become a successful business owner by really being accountable, because it's on you as the business owner. And I find that come up with my business all the time. It's like, it's me against me. It's not me against anybody else. And so once you realize that, your business will thrive, and you just have to keep shining your light and, play the game on 1,000 no's, because it really matter.
I love that book, Go for the No. If you haven't that book, you should.
I haven't. No, I haven't. Yeah, that sounds amazing.
Good one.
But you have to, because it's like, you're not for everyone and you don't want to be for everyone, right? Like, you want to be for the right ones. You want those soulmate clients. You want those people that are super aligned with your vision, with who you are as a person, that you can assimilate with and that you could really help. So, don't go for everything, be selective. Be selective.
So true. So true. That clarity is huge. Once you get clear on what your vision is for your business, and this is what I coach my clients that are in the online space as well, that clarity, everything else becomes either easier. You'll have the confidence, you see the vision, and you can step into that with that clarity and confidence and be aligned so that you attract those soulmate clients. That's super powerful. I love this. So, and just not, I love this conversation. I could talk with you all day about all things breath work. Then we could go through and do a couple of yoga sequences. But if you have one message that we could leave our listeners with that they could carry forward with them, what would it be?
I would say get uncomfortable. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. Because
that.
you don't know when it's going to hit. You don't know how it's going to come. But if you're prepared, a little bit prepared, you're going to take the blow a lot better.
Love that. I love that. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. That's where the growth happens.
That's where it happens.
I love that. Thank you so much, Nicoletta. This has been amazing. And where can our listeners go to learn more about you?
Absolutely. They can go to my website at www.chameleonbreathwork.com. Feel free to schedule a discovery call, and I would love to chat with anyone who's interested in doing any kind of breathwork or fascial release.
Beautiful. And we will definitely leave that link in the show notes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Everyone.